Now, you're very welcome back. So, as I'm sure you've seen over the last couple of days, Ireland has 5 and hopefully more boxers at the Paris Olympics next year. Kelly Harrington, Dean Clancy, Jack Marley, Aoife O'Rourke and our guest in studio, Michaela Walsh, will be in Paris. You're very welcome.
Thanks very much for having me on. Great
to have you in. Congratulations. It's a big achievement, yeah. 2-time Olympian has a nicer ring to it than one, doesn't it?
Oh, it's amazing. It's still surreal to be sitting here knowing that I'm going to Paris next year. It's just an amazing achievement and something I'm very proud of.
Yeah, I'll bet, as you should be. There's a fancy medal there. Our listeners won't see it, but anybody watching will see it. So in the featherweight division, European Games, you reach the semi-finals and that's your route to Paris. Were you feeling pretty confident that one way or another Paris was pretty likely for you to attain, or was it like, God, it's going to be tough this time around? What was your general mindset with it on the horizon?
I knew it was going to be tough, especially the European route. I think the top 5-6 women at my weight in the world were all in Europe. Okay. So I knew that it was going to be a big tough task, but I knew as well I have the ability to be up there with them. I've beat most of them before, I've been in the ring with most of them before, so I did know it was doable, but it was obviously going out there to do it, and I'm just lucky to be sitting here, like you said, as a 2-time Olympian, and it was tough, but I'm tougher, as I say, but no, I knew it was doable, but just to go out there and do it was amazing, and to do it with the rest of my teammates as well. There was obviously 5 of us that went out there to do it, and fingers crossed next year. I know there will be more. The talent in the group is phenomenal. There's a lot of younger ones on the team coming through, and they're all amazing, and there's no doubt about it. I think that there'll be a bigger lot of us going out to Paris.
Okay, so the European route is tough, and you know, if I've come through European route, then there's nothing maybe around the world which should be too scary by comparison.
Oh, definitely. The world route is just as tough as well, but sure. I just knew, obviously, the first time to go out and do it is a big ask, but I knew it was doable, and I really did believe it was doable, and I was trying not to put too much pressure on myself. I know it's easier said than done going out there, but I did know it was doable, and I just went out there and done the best that I could, and fortunately for me, the best that I could do was to qualify, so I was very lucky and grateful that I was able to achieve that.
Does that make the rest of this year and into next year just a much easier, better place, and allows you almost to prepare better for Paris as opposed to others who might now have to peak for a qualifying event along the way? Is it a big advantage to get it done early?
Oh, 100%. Such a big advantage. I actually find it really exciting because now I have a whole year to get better than what I am now, and I feel like now is probably the best I've ever been boxing throughout my whole career, and I think that's really exciting to know that I can actually get better than what I am now, and I can work on what I need to improve on, because coming up to these qualifiers, obviously just working on what I'm good at to get me over the line to qualify, and I think now being qualified early, it gives I've over a year now to get better, which is amazing. Like I said, can relax a wee bit more because I know that I'm on the plane to Paris, and I was actually just saying earlier on that when we qualified for Tokyo, we literally 2 weeks later we were on the plane to the training camp after we qualified. Like,
so you were that late?
It was that late because of COVID. So in a way you didn't get to enjoy being qualified, but at the time you didn't care. You would do anything. I would personally would have done anything to get the Olympic Games, and that's what had to be done, and that's the way it was done. So to have it early now, it just sort of I can breathe now. I can relax for a little bit.
Map out your training and
100%.
Think about how to address certain things. So when you say that you're boxing better than ever, what's better than ever? Why do you feel that?
I feel like outside of boxing, I'm very happy and content with life at the moment. Like I said, there's bigger things than boxing. Boxing's only a sport at the end of the day, and I think getting life right outside of boxing translates into the ring and just makes you perform better, makes you just happier in general. And I think getting it right outside of the ring definitely makes it better inside the ring.
Yeah, because that's always such an interesting case, to what extent life outside affects what you do inside.
100%.
And even, I don't know, I'm trying to think of examples. Mike Tyson didn't seem like an especially happy person out of the ring, and maybe that almost fueled him in the ring in a not very healthy, I'm sure, but like a perverse kind of way. It's interesting. You're more of the happier I am outside, better I'll perform inside. What are the big blocks of your life that you feel now are in a good place that allow you to perform to your best?
I think I sort of realised that my little niece is only two years of age. She was actually born the day we went to leave for Tokyo, and just coming back and just being an auntie to her, just sort of like win or lose, I come back and I'm still her auntie, and she still wants to play with me, and she sees me the same as I am. Obviously she doesn't know any difference, she's only 2 years of age, but it just shows you there's more to life than boxing. I'm not going to be a boxer for the rest of my life, and it's just a small part of my life, and so just making the most of what I have, and I really am enjoying boxing at the moment. I'm still lucky. I love to do it, because a lot of people get to the stage that they can't stick it anymore because it takes up so much of your life. But I'm just lucky. I love it. I love sport in general, and I just feel extremely grateful to be in the position that I am. So I'm just gonna keep going until I don't love it anymore. But for now, in this moment, I really do love it. Yeah,
which is great, because I would, as you said, the demands are so great. I would presume very easy to become burnt out. The training, it's never ending, I'm sure.
Never ending.
The diet.
Yeah, no, it is. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a tough life. Like even there, we were in Italy there for training camp, and one of the days the food was terrible, and I'm laying in bed starving, and you're seeing people putting posts up on Instagram eating the pizza, or friends out playing bowling or at the cinema, and you go, am I mad? Like, I'm sitting in the hotel in Italy here, nothing to eat. I'm sparring tomorrow. Someone that's going to try and take my head off. Do you know what I mean? And you go, is this like, what am I doing? But in the long run, it's worth it. Like,
so what is it that you love about the lifestyle or the sport?
It just then it's so individual. It's whatever you put in, that's what you're going to get put out. I feel like I'm a very committed and dedicated person, as well as an athlete, and just the persistence that I have, I'm always going to keep going until I get what I want. And listen, if it works out, it works out, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Like I said, it's only a sport. It's not the be all and end all, but I will try my best to get to where I want to get, and I think that sort of makes me the kind of athlete that I am. I'm a lot of people will tell you as well, I'm one of the hardest trainers. I love pushing myself as hard as I can, but that can go against me as well. Sometimes because I need to be told, like, you need to relax, you need to take a break. So even I've had a week off already, and I'm down to get back to the gym, but I know I'm still on a break, so I'm trying to relax, and people trying to remind me to relax and take it easy. So I have to I'm fighting with a battler myself, because I just love to be into the gym, and I just want to get back and start to improve. But at the same time, I know that I need to just take a step back and just relax for a bit.
Well, you're lucky. Most of us are the opposite. Like, oh my God, I have to go to the gym. So it's a good way to be. Do you have like a job outside of boxing? Are you very much full-time carded athlete, or what's your week-to-week, day-to-day? No,
I'm a full-time carded athlete, and I'm lucky we have Sport Ireland there that fund us. The card that I am a carded athlete, I'm lucky that they fund me, and as well as many other athletes, to be able to do this full time, because I know some people that aren't on funding and that they find it very tough. So
what would you be doing if you weren't boxing full time?
Boxing.
Really?
Boxing. I love boxing. I think even getting into the coaching side of thing. I love sport in general. Like even growing up, like before I even boxed, my dad had me. I was doing judo, swimming, soccer, Gaelic, tennis, basketball. I mean, my dad had us. We were never in the house. You were hyperactive, I'm sensing. Yeah, everything. He had us on the track. Everything. He just had us. He threw us into every sport possible. And I just love sport in general. And then he was sportsman himself, obviously, and said just loved to keep us all active. And even when I went and played music, I played the guitar. Like, he just had us in every single thing. But it was just something about boxing. I remember walking into the boxing gym, and I was just intrigued. And what age were you then? What age were you then, Michaela? I was 13 when I started.
Right.
I followed Aidan down to the boxing club.
Of course,
But I was obviously like a tomboy when I was younger, so I was always out with the boys kicking the ball out in the street and all the other sports, doing everything. So my dad, actually, Aidan was getting to that age, he was sort of bullies and that were around, so he wanted Aidan to be able to learn how to look after himself, and my dad used to box himself, so he brought Aidan down to the gym. And I asked could I go, and he said no, but not because he wasn't against it. It just was alien. He didn't know women or girls were allowed into the boxing gym, and I just asked about 2-3 weeks every night, asked him could I go down, and he asked the head coach at the time, Sean Canavan, and he says bring her down.
Right.
And I can remember it right now. It's playing in my head just walking in. I remember the smell hit me of the old gym, and the noise of the bags, and just like punching in the bag. You just remember it when I walked in, and that was me hooked.
Wow.
So it was.
Sounds like a scene in a movie.
Yeah, that's what it's sort of like the $1 million baby. She walks into the gym, and that's what I remember it as. And I just remember the first night, just loved it, and that was me down every Monday to Friday every night. And I actually remember we live about, I'd say, 20-25 minute walk, and I would have ran down, trained, and then ran back home every night. Just loved it. Just was obsessed with the training and just everything about it. And I remember actually to this day, one of the coaches says that girl trains harder than all the boys, and that just stuck with me. So anytime I'm training, I always remember him saying that. So I always was like I have to work hard, like to prove that I've earned to be here, because I'm the only girl.
And were you the only girl at that time?
I was the only girl, that time, yeah.
And were the lads receptive, or were they saying, hey, what are you doing here, get out?
No, see, I was lucky because Aidan was there, so it was always like, that's my sister, so if anyone said anything,
okay, good.
He could hit them a dig or two for me, so he could.
Is Aidan older or younger?
He's younger than me. He's 4 years younger.
4 years younger?
4 years, yeah.
Okay, so he would have been 9.
He would have been 9, yeah.
But he was still looking out for you?
Still looking out for me, yeah. Okay. Trying to.
And so would you spar the other boys?
We'd have sparred boys growing up, yeah. So that was in St. Agnes's. I was there for a year, and the sort of would never let me spar or do pads or nothing really, because I was the only girl.
Yeah.
But my dad worked with this guy, Alistair McFadden, in Translink at the time, and he says, I have a young lad for the spar, Ram Burnett. That's who it was. Ram Burnett came down, battered ahead of me, but I loved it. There was something, I loved it.
Right.
And then that was us. We were into the Holy Family then after that. And it was like with Ram Burnett, they had Paddy Barnes there. I used to get a few beatings of them every week, but I remember actually being in Moran, and I could never hit him. And I remember one week I hit him once.
Yeah.
I went, jeez, I hit Ram Burnett.
Progress.
Once.
Yeah.
Next week I hit him 3 times.
Okay.
I just remember getting better and better and better, and like they brought me on leaps and leaps and bounds, and it just.
Well, it's such a great
amazing.
Boxing city and such a great boxing country that there's that we were just chatting briefly before we came on air, and we were saying about even the Irish environment akin to fighting Ryan Burnett or Paddy Barnes. You sort of now know, God, if I'm cutting the mustard here at Irish camp, then globally I'm probably doing okay.
100%.
So there's a sky high standard from minute one when you started boxing if you're fighting those guys.
Yeah, 100%. Like I think the level's so high. Like even in clubs, I know from Belfast, going around like Belfast to get sparring, and the level is so high, and like you said, if you're at the level but people are, if you go in the world scene, you're going to do all right. Like even especially for the women, like you think even the men, like Cuban boxing's obviously known the best boxers in the world, and if you're number 5 in Cuba, you're going to do all right. So it's the same as the women. I think if you're up there with the women and you go internationally, you're going to do all right, because the women's team is such at a high standard right now.
So if we were still living in the dark ages and women's boxing wasn't at the Olympics and Katie Taylor wasn't showing how it can be done professionally, and your life was still very much Belfast, you'd still be down the gym, still boxing, just still attracted to the art, the science of it. Yeah,
I love it. Yeah.
Are you like, is there an aggression that you're trying to get out, or is it more the skill that you really like, the mechanics almost?
I think just the skill, like just getting hit and not getting hit, sort of the beauty behind it, the art behind it.
Yeah.
People think, like I used to think even looking, say, at a soccer match, it's just scoring a goal, just try and put the ball in the net, but it's not. There's tactics behind it, and there's ways about it. Every sport's like it. Even runners, like you think you just have to run over the line, like there's tactics behind it all, and it's the same with boxing. the tactics and everything about it. Like you think you just go in and hit someone more than they hit you, but like there's so much more behind the scenes. And
so I'm sort of imagining you as then obsessed teenager and into your 20s, and even when you're walking down the road or when you're lying in bed, you're mentally in fights and thinking tactics and visualising and just obsessed with that science.
Yeah, always just ways to improve. And even when I'm away like camps, like just looking at certain people and saying, right, I like what he or she does, and I'm going to try that, maybe bring that into my game. Like you can always learn, and you can always improve. Always.
It's hard to know if there's just a limited number of things like something you can be told, so you can pick up stuff
always.
Even now.
Even say like Kelly Harden, she's a highest level Olympic champion, and she's always improving.
Okay.
So she's even in sparring her, like she's doing something new that she didn't do last year.
Really, even now.
Constantly always improving, and like what I said, even what got me to Tokyo, I knew that wasn't going to get me to Paris. I had to be a better version of what I was. And what got me to Paris, that's not going to get me on the podium in Paris. I need to get better.
And so, I mean, be as technical as you want, because like lots of people listening to the show love their boxing. What type of fighter are you? What was good 2-3 years ago that may not get you onto the podium in Paris, for instance, without giving your opponents any secrets?
Well, I would be considered a counter puncher.
Okay.
Always making people miss.
Do you think that's because when you were growing up as the girl, like the boys might have been stronger, more aggressive, so you developed that style of
It's sort of from Holy Family, we're always known as the movers.
Right.
So it was always like your feet work. So even if you see Aidan as well, like
that's his DNA.
He's one of the. I'm not just saying it because my brother, but if you look at anyone in the world scene, like his movement, he would be classed as one of the best.
Okay.
So he would just,
so boxing clubs have certain cultures and traditions.
Yeah, because I remember so we were Holy Family back then, and there was a club, Immaculata. They'd be known as like the come forward fighters, the pressure fighters. So. Okay. And we're Holy Family movers, so you knew like going to that club for sparring, you knew what you were going to get. And
okay, I see.
People always knew the Holy Family ones were the movers, and they were hard to hit, hard to catch, and that sort of just develops your style like as you grow up. And then when you go into high performance, it's a whole new, like you're basically a diamond and they're just polishing the diamond and you can add to your game, but obviously you've got your own style, but then you need to be able to like adapt. So maybe in a counter puncher I've tried to adapt more of aggressive style as well, so it's been able to switch from counter to attack quicker, or I might need to go out in the first round and attack straight away, and then when I attack I've caught them so I can go on the counter, and it's just being able to adapt and do different things.
Not being predictable,
and different opponents, different tactics is going to work for different opponents.
So for Tokyo and in advance of Tokyo, were you still more of your roots a counter puncher, and you're now less of a counter puncher? You can do both.
I'm trying to just add more like to my style, like going forward and having to mix it a wee bit more, and where before I didn't really need to do that, and I feel even now I turned 30 there last month, but I still feel like now this is probably the strongest I've ever been.
Right. So
it is just like even focusing more on sort of like the S&C side of things, developing more into my weight category, because I would make weight pretty easily.
Okay.
So it's putting on a bit more muscles, getting a bit stronger, and right now it's probably the strongest I've ever been throughout my career as well. Okay. So it's just adding.
Get to a place where potentially in Paris next year you might sit down with your coaches and they might say your next opponent would hate if you took the fight to her.
Yes.
And you're like, bang.
Yeah.
Got that in the locker.
Being able to actually go out there and implement it. It's alright doing it in the gym, but then translating that into the ring.
Top level.
So
great. And so you're down in Dublin quite a lot of the time. Then they're not just like, we'll see you up in Belfast, wander down when you want. You're in the National Performance Centre a lot.
We're based here Tuesday to Friday every week, so we are.
How many are in there now?
I'd say there's probably 30 or more boxers.
Right.
It depends at different times, like different ones come in, but I'd say about 20 or 30 or more even.
Good environment?
Brilliant environment. The level there is phenomenal. Everyone so supportive, everyone pushes each other on, and
as a team,
and the coaching staff, like we have the best coaches I think in the world. Like,
do you work much with Zaur?
Yeah, he's the head coach.
I hear Zaur is like genius.
Unbelievable.
Right, explain it to us.
It's just he's like an encyclopedia of boxing. Like he knows everything in and out. Like if you showed him one style of opponent, this is, you need X, Y, says D and C. This is how you beat.
Okay.
Like you ask him anything about boxing and
He's the answer.
he has the answer to everything. He's unbelievable.
Okay.
He's a genius. Like when it comes from boxing terms, like he's unbelievable. Like he's just knows everything.
And so, like, I mean, he's resisted the limelight. How's his English?
Amazing.
Is it?
Amazing. Amazing.
Right. I feel when the cameras are there, he's like, "Oh no, sorry."
He just doesn't want to get interviewed.
All right, interesting. So and he'd be good at communicating to you. Listen, Michaela, you're doing X and Y. What I want you to do is this, and show it to you, and get it across very well.
Oh, he's phenomenal. Like he just the stuff that you learn from him, and he's even still learning. He would even say, if you said to him, he says, "I'm still learning."
Yeah.
It's just you'd be doing a session, it just bumps something in his head. Right, we're going to do this. And you just go, how do you even know?
Really?
Like, how do you even know to do that? Like, he's a phenomenal coach, and I've been working with him for so long now, and it's great to have such a good relationship with him as well. And I like getting into the ring, I put my full trust in him.
And is he in your corner for fights?
He's in the corner, yeah. Okay. He's the top guy in the corner, so he is, yeah.
So I presume then between rounds you're getting, I mean, whether you win the fight or not, it must be lovely to know I'm pretty much getting the best advice money can buy here.
100%, yeah. And like,
would he have ever turned a fight for you where he said, you know what, between a round, that was happening first round, try and do this instead, and then it works in the second? Would that happen?
No, even there, like going back there to the European Games, I think it was around the 16. I was in against Turkey, and it was 2 rounds up, and I knew it was 2 rounds up. And he's like, right, I want you to go out there and mix it with her a bit more. So it was standing toe to toe. And he was just doing that because he knew, like, just to maybe develop that a bit more. And I could have just played it safe. It was 2 rounds up, but he wanted more out of me. And then I like going out there to do it. And then he was happy with me because I actually was listening to what he was saying and went out there and done it. So
amazing.
He's brilliant.
Olympian at Tokyo and soon to be Olympian in Paris. Is the experience of going to the Olympics what you hoped it would be? Or is it a bit of an anticlimax and you're kind of in your own bubble and then you go home and it's just like another tournament? Obviously not quite just like another tournament, but you know, people could go to the games and think, this is going to be the most amazing thing.
Yeah.
And then they're home and 2 weeks later going, geez, I spent 4 years working towards that. Wasn't that amazing?
No.
What was your experience?
No, I thought it was amazing. Just all the different athletes and different shapes and sizes, and you're seeing some celebrities, as people would say, like I thought it was amazing. Obviously, it was a bit different because of COVID. Like you were getting COVID tests every single morning and just bits like that. But no, it was everything that sort of that I thought it would be, and I don't know, something magical about it. There's just
it still had that magic.
It still had that magic. Yeah, that's what I felt anyway. I felt it still had that magic, and just like seeing, even I know Aidan and Kelly were the only ones to medal, but even watching them and. Like obviously it wasn't the result that I wanted to go out there and medal, and it wasn't to be for me, but to see them two go out and do that was just magical. Watching it, I even feel like goosebumps now even thinking about it, but just seeing them do it shows you that it can be done. Like you're training with them and day in day out and living with each other and all, so it just it shows you that it can be done. And
Paris can be amazing. I mean, I presume like the Walsh family, friends, extended family are all booking their tickets over to Paris. Like you'll have an amazing support, I would think, for Paris by comparison with Tokyo. Oh, definitely. Like that's the thing. Like unfortunately for Tokyo, where family and friends weren't allowed over. I would love to have them there, but they weren't allowed, obviously because of COVID. So I think Paris could make it even more special. And it's funny, I'd forgotten that about Tokyo. Like I can see some of the images. I remember Harrington winning and different things, but you forget it's in an empty room. It's in an empty room. It was almost better, like when you were fighting, because you could hear. We were in, like, you could hear everything Zaur was shouting. We were in, there was a, what do you call that, the sumo wrestling stadium. So it was, the ring was low and it was like went really tall and like in a circle. So when you shouted, like it echoed throughout the whole arena. Yes. So people, I think when Aidan was fighting, thought I was crazy because all you could hear was you shouting. Was me screaming. I don't even know what I was screaming, but you could hear me screaming and it just echoed throughout the arena. So people probably thought there was hundreds of people. It was just me screaming. Maybe that's why I thought there were more people there. Is there anything you learned from Tokyo in terms of how to handle the occasion or the nature of the tournament that you'd be like, yeah, come Paris, I'm gonna know that? Or is it pretty similar to other tournaments, so it wasn't a great departure in that sense? I think just like living in the moment more instead of looking down at just taking day by day. You're sort of just, you can't wait the trains over to you there. So it just only from last year started, I got a leaf out of Aidan's book, so he just
try and enjoy the moment more. And I think that when I was a bit younger, going to camps, I had to have my tea at 7, read my book by 8, bed by 10. Like, I just had to do everything. I was nearly too obsessed, like just doing everything by the book. I almost felt guilty if I was enjoying it. Where now I'm trying to enjoy it a wee bit more. Like if I want to go and have tea with the girls, or I want to do like small stuff, like that's not gonna hinder my performance.
No.
Like you can do the right things and still enjoy it. Like I used to think nearly it was guilty if I was enjoying it, but
yes,
I've started trying to enjoy it more, because this moment's not going to last forever. So
no.
I'm just trying to enjoy the journey more than anything, because when you look back, I think like regardless what medals you won, you're not going to remember that. You're going to remember the journey more than anything.
Yeah, for sure. It is an extraordinary thing to have a brother and sister at the games. I mean, kind of nuts. Like, what is it in the Walsh genes? I wonder. I'm sure like the family are saying, bloody hell, didn't like, unbelievable.
Oh no, it's brilliant. Just Aidan just is phenomenal to have. He's a definition of a high performer.
Okay.
He's just amazing, and just to have someone like that as my brother, as my best friend.
Are you best friends?
Best friends, do everything together.
Really?
So we do.
Yeah.
Well, he's away on a cruise with his girlfriend. He should have brought me, so he should have. But
she would have been the third wheel. Would she?
She would have been the third wheel. But no, it's brilliant to have each other, and I wouldn't have got to Tokyo without him.
Why
and
not?
Vice versa. Just to have him there, like with me on the journey. Just when it was a bit low and when I needed him, he was the one there, and he kept me going. He kept me on the right path, and it almost meant more. It was obviously I wanted to get the Olympics, but it was nearly if he hadn't went, I wouldn't have wanted to go.
Really?
That's how much it meant. Like I would if someone said to me I had to swap my ticket for the Olympic Games for your brother to go, I'd swap like that. There you go. I wouldn't even have to think twice about it. That's how much like.
Were you always that close as kids?
Always best friends growing up. Yeah, always. Yeah,
wow.
Done everything together. So we did. So
that's lovely.
To be able to go to the Olympics and then to obviously see him win an Olympic medal. I would, even if someone says to me, I know people say you're crazy, but if I had the opportunity to say you win an Olympic medal or him, I would pick him every time, 100%.
Liar.
Swear to God, I would. It means more for me to see him do it.
Would he pick you?
He would as well. Yeah.
God, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Imagine you both win one.
I know, that's even more special. We don't have to pick between each other then.
God, that's fantastic. And are both your parents still around? Or are they?
Yeah, okay. They're still around, yeah.
So they'll be there.
My dad's still my coach as well, so he is. So
right, okay.
He's coaches from the start as well, yeah.
Wow.
So it's still with us.
One of the great sporting families here.
Yeah.
Quietly doing their thing. Did you think about going professional at all as you watched Katie Taylor do her thing over the last 100%. couple of years?
100%. I actually wanted, maybe after Tokyo, I was thinking of making the switch over, but it was just a force in my head saying, give it another go.
I know, and it wasn't a 4-year cycle this time as well.
That's right, yeah.
Threes and touching distance.
That's right, yeah. So it was no, like if I don't get a medal, I don't get a medal. I'm not putting pressure on myself, but
sure.
I'm gonna try my best to be standing on the podium and to be standing on top of the podium. But like it's not, like I said, it's not going to be the be all and end all of me. So we'll see after Paris will it turn over or not. But I think Katie's created the pathway.
Like in a way that I mean, you knew she'd do something special, but I remember her first couple of fights, and to see where she's come,
unbelievable.
Isn't it just
unbelievable?
Yeah.
She's a phenomenal athlete, phenomenal human being, and just she doesn't even know what she's done for women in sport in general. It's amazing, and I think couldn't happen to a nicer person. I think that's like you can be a great athlete, but I think if you're a good person, I think that says more about you than anything, really.
Yeah, and I know like the great cliche is thrown around that this will inspire future generations. Are the boxing clubs of Belfast are the ones that you tend to see now? Are there more girls boxing underage level?
Yeah, there's so many girls now on the rise up. Like really? I think like even I started when I was 13. I'd say 13-year-olds now are leveled above where I was when I started, leveled above, and I think that's amazing to see. So it is. And I think even give it another 10 years, it's going to be even higher. Like we're one of the best countries in the world at the minute, the women's team definitely. Yeah. And I think another 10 years can even be better. It's phenomenal, the talent throughout Ireland. Even the youth and juniors and the schoolgirls, it's actually quite scary. Yeah. I'm actually lucky I'm not that age now because
the competition
they'd be thumping ahead of me. So no, it's amazing to see.
Amazing. Well, listen, the best of luck. I mean, it is just the most extraordinary achievement. I know Aidan is still pushing to make the games as well. He's in a very competitive weight division. It's not easy to get out of Ireland, let alone into European level. So hopefully he's there with you, and we might catch up with you in advance of Paris and have a chat again. But you've got your ticket booked. So Michaela Walsh, very best of luck, and thanks so much for coming in.
Thank
Appreciate
you so
it.
much.
Cheers.
Thank you.